Do you remember your 16th birthday? I remember mine. It was nothing major. I simply just got a driver's license. I was handed a car that my mom once owned as she got a new one, and I remember thinking to myself, hey, you know what? I'm not an adult yet. However, I got more responsibilities now. I have a car, which means I have to get a job to maintain the car, afford gas, and it's just more of a maturity level for me. This is something that many Americans, when they turn 16, go through. Not all, but, a good chunk of them. However, there are many different rite of passages for many cultures in the world. Today, I'm here to talk to you about one that I found fascinating, and that is the Amish rite of passage Rumspringa. Now, more than likely, you've seen a TV show or a movie where they have shown their take on people during Rumspringa, where they're living out in the city doing their own thing. They don't have much, but they're mostly just out partying, having fun. While that is true for a small population of the Amish community who partake in Rumspringa, it's furthest from the truth for the majority of them. For example, Rumspringa, an Amish rite of passage, it's a rite of passage used during adolescence, used by some Amish communities. Not all of them, but there is a good majority of them that do. Typically, it will begin at the age of 16, but it may begin as early as 14. Typically, when it happens this young, it is for the female Amish, as they are considered mature more faster than the men, which I think also takes into account for everywhere. Now, they're allowed more freedom as they're regarded as reaching maturity. They're able to make choices on their own if they want to join the Amish church. So basically, what it is the parents go, you know what, you're an adult now. You don't have to abide by all of our rules, but you still have to abide by some of them. So go ahead, live here with us, do your own thing, but eventually you have to make the choice if you want to go your own way or if you're going to join the Amish church and continue with our settlement, our community. And it usually ends when you decide to leave the settlement or you choose a baptism and joining the church. Now, what happens during Rumspringa, like I said, you're able to go out, live in what they call the English world, which they call basically all of Americans that aren't Amish. But for a majority of them, at the age of 16, they're allowed to join the Sunday night sing, which is a weekly gathering of the settlement that's used mostly for courtship, meeting your potential spouse, future spouse, girlfriend. However, you may also be able to engage in rebellious behavior, resisting or defying parental norms. Now, the punishment, it might be relaxed, might be tolerated, even overlooked for misbehavior, mischief. You're still not allowed to go out and murder, partake in the purge, and many other different major crimes or denounce your faith. You still have rules, but you're considered more of an adult, so it's more of an independent thing. You may leave the settlement to live among the English, once again, North Americans, though very few ever decide to do so. The majority of the youth who enter Rumspringa typically decide to stay within the settlement. Now, this isn't saying, hey, you guys have to stay here or you guys have to go. You got the free will to be able to do that because the moral of Rumspringa is basically to come to your own conclusion as a mature adult. Do you want to stay with the settlement, join the church, and continue your way of life, or do you want to go venture out and do your own thing? Now, some of the rules for that most people partake in Rumspringa is wearing non-traditional clothing, hairstyle, also known as dressed in English, once again North American. Driving vehicles other than horse-drawn vehicles, cars, jeeps, jetpacks, four-wheeler, whatever they can get their hands on. Not attending home prayer. That means, you don't have to be at home at 6 p.m. for your dinner and then prayer time. And even using alcohol and other illegal drugs. It's, you know, every parent, if you have kids, you don't want your kids going out to do this. But during Rumspringa, while it may be looked down upon, they're not going to say anything. They're not going to punish you because it's your way of coming into the world and making your own choice. That's the end of those, but there are many different types of rules and regulations for Rumspringa. Most Amish elders just consider it as a time for courting and finding your future spouse, which, like I said, tends at the Sunday night sing. How they court typically turns into guy takes a girl home in the buggy, drops her off. They might do that for a couple times, exchange notes throughout the community. It's not nothing near what we do, where we text, wait 2 days, 3 days to call, or just jump right into a relationship. It's a more slow, steady process, but that is for what many of the Amish elders consider to be the purpose of Rumspringa. Now, there are youth groups that partake in Rumspringa throughout the community. It ranges from the slower groups who are more inclined to get together at a home or a church and family games, play volleyball, very low key. Then you have the faster group, which is more likely to party, to engage in alcohol, drugs. Not all of them do it, and it ranges from slow to fast. Now, some of the TV show movie interpretations of Rumspringer, they might be a super fast group in the community where they're out partying, going to bars, going to concerts, enjoying English life, North American life. But however, in the larger settlements, only about 50% of the youth actually engage into the activities of Rumspringa. The smaller communities, 10 to 15%. For the most part, they already know what they want to do, and they're going to join the church, be baptized, and just enjoy life as an Amish, which, if you've ever had the opportunity to meet and speak with anyone that's Amish, very respectful, very nice, hardworking bunch of people. As a truck driver, I've experienced many encounters with them and have nothing bad to say about the Amish. Yeah, it's weird. They live with no electricity, no electronics, but, you know, that's how they live life. That's how they enjoy it. More respect to them for being able to do that. I know I couldn't. I know most of us probably couldn't. Now, typically about 90% of people who partake in Rumspringa decide to stay with the church, decide to get baptized, get a wife, continue on with the community, and eventually become the elder who will want the youth to use Rumspringa to court and find a wife or husband. Go either way. So yeah, that's basically Rumspringa. You get more freedom. You get to do what you want without, well, almost what you want without having any major ramifications from your elders and that. So it's a very unique tradition, very nice way to be able to become your own person, to decide what you want to do. You get to basically be 18 a couple of years earlier, and you got 2 to 6 years to make your mind up how you want to live. If you want to join the English traditional North American world, or if you want to stay with what you've known your whole life. So that is Rumspringa in a nutshell, and I got little tidbits here and there about statistics. Approximately 90% choose to be baptized and join the church. A good chunk of them don't even partake in the Rumspringa. I would say, in a larger community, maybe half of them, 50%, decide, hey, you know what? I want to be in the church. I want to be baptized. And they can do it that day. And then the next day, there's no time limit when you make your mind up. But it's permanent. That you can't decide, hey, I want to join the church. And then a couple of weeks later, I had fun on Rumspringa. I kind of want to go back out and live. No, you make your choice. That's how you're going to live. I mean, yes, you can leave, but you're going to be shunned by your community, your family. So it's a very important ritual, rite of passage for any youth, and it helps them grow up faster and be more mature. So, like I said, that is Rumspringa in a nutshell, and I hope you guys learned something. I know I did researching it, and just remember, everybody has their own way of coming to terms with who they are.